two. Jackson Dinky full-size guitar. This one's new to the channel, and the reason that it's here is because I can't read a description when I'm shopping for guitars online. I thought it was really cool that they were now making the minion in this red color, and as it turns out, they're not making the minion in this color at all. But the good news is it'll help me show you something. I talked a little bit about sharing some of the information. Now, one of the things that I've learned as I go back and watch information over the channel, as I watch things that I've posted, is I can tell by my body position how my hands are responding. And that's because I tend to lean over more when my hands are becoming more difficult. And I thought there's one particular pattern to play that really demonstrates the dexterity and strength issues. And it's a song that some of you may recognize, some of you may not. And I may play it so poorly that you don't recognize it anyway. Now, you may have noticed that I'm really struggling, not only with the hammer-on and the pull-off, but I'm really struggling to get my hand to stretch this much to the point where I have to lean over a lot. Now, I know a lot of other players will kind of pull up the guitar this way and they'll play it up there. That doesn't help me all that much, to be quite honest with you. But if I were to go to a guitar that has a shorter scale, even by just 2 inches, it makes a little more than a little bit of a difference. And I catch myself leaning back a little more, pulling a little further away from the neck. But I also pulled it sharp. I don't know if you noticed that or not. With shorter scales, it's easier to pull them sharp. But I pulled it sharp because I'm putting more pressure on the strings and trying to get that spread of my hand to a point where I can compensate for the pain that I'm actually already starting to feel right across the back of my hand. So, full scale, I couldn't play that song all the way through. This one I could, but it might have lasting consequences, at least for the rest of the night. But if I'm willing to go to an even shorter scale, about 7 inches shorter, even though it's tuned up, I still have to pull the guitar in close. I still have to change my hand position, but I don't have nearly as much pain. I'm not working nearly as hard to fret the chords, and I can probably not only make it through the song, but keep playing. Hey, y'all. This is probably the most personal upload that I'm going to do. And I hope you bear with me. I know we haven't known each other that long, but I want to tell you that when I first started doing all this stuff and the gear reviews and all that, I was trying to share as much about the specs of the guitars as possible, the possible tones, how to mod them, all that kind of stuff. And I wanted to share as much information as I could. But tonight, the information that I'm going to share, I really hope that you never need, because it's going to mean that you've gone through something similar to what I've had to go through. You've walked through the valley that I've had to walk through. And I don't want that, because I don't want people to have weakened hands or lost dexterity and have to go through the process of the fear of maybe never playing this instrument again. Now, that's actually a fairly common thought, a lot more common than we'd like to admit, because there are a lot of conditions that can impact your hands. We've got diabetes, we've got neuropathy, we've got carpal tunnel syndrome, we've got arthritis, we've got tendon inflammation, we've got injuries of repetition or overuse, we've got surgery, recovery, nerve compression, or sometimes it's just a simple matter of aging. Now, some of you are sitting there kind of wringing your hands and you know exactly what I'm talking about. And some of you may find yourselves facing tighter joints and colder fingers and that unsettling feeling when your fingers don't quite hit that chord. And you think, well, I've got to warm them up a little. I've got to stretch them a little more. And again, I hope you never experience that. But if you do, I want you to know that you're not alone. You see, I've seen it done before, and I've used it before, to use playing guitar as more than a hobby, but actually use it kind of as a physical therapy, because it is more than just an instrument. It's something that we can use to kind of form the soundtrack of our life. And it doesn't matter if we're this exceptional player that can, play all the arpeggios and do the fan picking and all that kind of stuff, or if we can just settle into a groove, or even if we just pick out one note at a time, like we did when we first picked up the instrument. This background music that we have and being able to express it is important. And it can become therapy in more than just a physical way. But physical is the easiest way to measure it, because every note we play is really a stretch. And every chord we play is about strength. And every scale run can be a reminder of which muscles that we're using are waking up and which ones need rest. You see, guitar taught me something that my doctors couldn't. It taught me when, in the moment, I could push and when I needed to hold back. It taught me when to rest and when to find other ways to keep my hands from moving. Shuffling cards, using massages, warm water, stretching, resistance bands, simple mobility work, just twirling pins or coins. And I got better because I learned to listen, not just to the guitar, not just to the doctors, but also to my body. And little by little, very little by little, my strength returned, my dexterity returned, and my confidence returned. Not perfectly, not without setbacks, not without flare-ups, but enough to make sure that I'm not going to lose that hope for quite a while. You see, the guitar is not just about that physical therapy. It's also about stimulating my brain, making me think more, because it lights up my brain like the lights of this studio. Learning new chord shapes and tunings and rhythms and scales, and learning how to do chicken picking and different patterns of finger picking, inside picking, outside picking. It all sparks some type of intellectual stimulation in my brain that keeps my mind sharp. Studies say that that's true, and I lived that truth. On days when my hands are weak, my mind is still grinding through the mental puzzles. It's trying to work out different ways to play rhythms, different ways to find melodies. How can I play this chord better? How can I move my hands in a different way that I was shown on that video in order to hit the same notes? What melody fits here? Can I write something that I've never written before? And that mental engagement has been a lifeline, because it keeps my days energized. It keeps my memory sharp. It keeps my brain curious. It continues to seek discovery. See, guitar might be a workout for my hands, but it's also a workout for my intellect. And those two things combined to give me a little bit more of emotional health. Emotionally, the guitar is one of my great stabilizers. It's my pressure valve. If I'm in an angry mood, I can play angry music for a few minutes and then kick the distortion off and kind of mellow out into a little bit of a world of reverb. If I'm sad, I can get that out. It's a release. It's a grounding. It's a way to discover joy. When life feels too big, guitar makes it smaller, makes it more manageable. When life feels too small, guitar makes it grand. When my emotions start to run wild, the guitar kind of reins them in. And when I feel kind of cold and distant, it allows me to tap into those emotions. When I'm low, it can lift me. And when I'm too high, it can keep me there. When I'm restless, it steadies me. When I'm anxious, it calms me. When I'm confused, it gives me an opportunity to sit and think. It gives me expression, but it also gives me balance. Not just the valleys and the peaks, but a much healthier baseline. Music expressed through the guitar for me is an anchor in a storm, but it's also the wind in the sails. Sometimes I don't need a solution. I need a song. And that brings it into a realm that not a lot of people like to talk about, but it's also where I spend a lot of my time. And that's the idea of the Spirit. You see, that's the part that's hard to put into words. We've struggled for thousands of years to express it, the spiritual side of life. I don't believe that there is a inherent mojo in the wood or the strings or the pickups or the tone. But I absolutely believe in the mojo of the moment. Because something happens when we play. Something deep. Something human, something sacred, something beyond notes and technique. It's not magic, it's not superstition, but it is a connection to something outside of ourselves. It's a beauty, a creativity to something larger than what we are. It has a way of clearing a fog so we can see clearly, but also giving us a soft place to land when we feel like we're falling. It's what gives me breath. And that's why I hope that I'll never have another long-term period of not being able to play. That's what the minis are for me. And it's why I do offer it to other people as a way of adapting to losing the dexterity and strength that is inherent in acoustic guitars or in fuller scale guitars. Because I know that my hands are going to age, and I know that my condition over time is going to worsen. I know that my struggles are going to return. And that's why I keep trying to learn what I'm learning. And that's why I'm sharing what I'm learning. You see, this is my hope. My prayer, my intention is that when I do finally reach that time that we all reach, my last hours, my last days, that I'll have a guitar close by, and that my last breath will be accompanied by music created by my own hands. I can't think of a more peaceful way to go. So I leave you with this. When the daylight fades and the shadows grow, when the body weakens and the breathing's slow, let a quiet chord rise soft and kind from these worn-out hands and this grateful mind. And if that moment is the end of my story, let my final breath carry music, not memory. A simple song, my last goodbye, played by my hand as I learn to fly. Until then, play on, y'all. Play on.